No, Flo! The shout came again. The woman running towards her, 2 dogs on leads. The dachshund looked barely able to keep up, and the miniature poodle couldn't run fast enough. "My Jimmy Choo!" Grace shouted. "Off, Flo!" The shout came again. "It's chewing my—" Grace's words were stalled by the sight of the dog's teeth firmly wrapped around the heel of the shoe, its paws trapping the shoe to the ground. She threw her hands to her head. "Oh, my God!" "Off," the woman said. Grace watched, dumbfounded, as the woman, in wellies, jeans, and bright yellow raincoat, tackled the Great Dane. She took the shoe from the dog and studied it carefully before holding it out to Grace. "I'm so sorry. I think it's okay, more slobber than damage," she said. "I really am so dreadfully sorry. She's not normally that excitable with complete strangers." The Great Dane stood, wagging its tail in an unapologetic fashion. Grace eased herself up to sit, rubbing at her elbow, aware of the assessing gaze that she thought had lingered on her exposed legs before moving up her body and then making eye contact with her. She studied the damp shoe with a grimace and took it reluctantly between the tip of her index finger and thumb and put it on the ground. She reached into her pocket and pulled out the antibacterial spray and squirted it on her hands and then on the shoe. The woman was blushing, but there was a glint in her eye that gave her a youthful, innocent appearance. "I'm so sorry. Flo, come here," she said in a stern tone. Grace winced at the pain in her hip as she started to rise. "I'm so sorry," the woman said again, clipping a lead to the lively Great Dane. Grace tensed as the darkest eyes she'd ever seen rested on her. She stood staring and words wouldn't come, her hand immobilized on her sore buttock. "You must be Grace. I'm Harriet." Harriet had Flo under control and settled at her side. "She's still a puppy, really, and I didn't think you'd be here yet. I must have lost track of time," she said. "You don't wear a watch?" Grace said, and then wished the words hadn't landed quite as aggressively. "No," Harriet said, her voice softly apologetic. Grace felt the wave of guilt flush her face. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean—" "It's okay," Harriet interrupted. "I should have kept a track of time," she said, nodding her head. "Are you hurt?" "Nothing that won't mend." Grace studied Harriet. The line of her jaw, the wavy hair that danced lightly at her shoulders as she moved, the kindness in her dark eyes. "I hope the shoe is okay. I'll pay for any damage," Harriet said, aware of Grace's apparent discomfort. Grace released a sigh, held the concerned gaze and smiled. "It's okay. I think I might have missed the memo regarding the dress code here," she said, pointing to her inappropriate attire, which was either covered in dust from the driveway or slobber from the dog. Harriet took out a tissue from her pocket and handed it to Grace. "Thank you," Grace said, squirted the spray onto the cloth and wiped her neck. Harriet shifted eye contact and directed her attention to the offending Great Dane who was sat perfectly at her feet. "I'm glad you arrived safely," she said.